Today, I'm going to tell you who have come to see the famous production of Heli, an entertaining story. It's a story that all the locals know. The host told it. It was a very old story indeed. It happened somewhere very far away. In the valley where ghosts dwell, where the music ends, stood the Heli Empire. In that place lived 3 princes. The smart but weak older brother, Alex, an outstanding warrior, the second prince, Garrick, and also the third prince, William, that was handsome enough to bewitch the ghosts themselves. But he had a bad temper. One day he seduced the emperor's concubine and planted his seed in her. The ruler was enraged, and so this seed sprouted and became the protagonist of our story, Princess Sophia. This child should also be killed, but I don't want to destroy my blood, said the man. The emperor entrusted the care of the child to an inferior servant, and the order to name it Sophia. This name had associations in the man's mind with bitter tears. Must be because she brought only trouble and tears. However, trouble did not come alone. The princess made a fuss every day, assuring that she saw the unseen. "A ghost has come to eat me! Let me out!" Constantly, the child screamed. "There's nothing in there. She's lost her mind. Does she think she's got ghosts in there? Poor child, it's so noisy. Lock her up and let her starve to death," Father ordered. Everyone thought that would be the end of it, but on the 10th night, a huge bolt of lightning struck the palace. To everyone's amazement, the princess survived, and more amazingly, she didn't have a scratch on her. An ominous but marvelous song began to surround Princess Sophia, and this is what it said. "If you eat Princess Sophia, you will get a new body and become human." Heli's wickedness left the princess and began to fight for her. In the end, the ugliest of the monsters, which had taken and swallowed so many valuable things that there was no room left in its belly, could not eat the princess. In the end, it took only the princess's eyes and fled. But as it turned out, it was just a dream. Lately, the girl's dreams had been getting more and more horrible. A dream? But nothing bad will happen again, will it? Sophia began to worry. The girl didn't want to harm others anymore after all. At this time, an angry John was coming out of His Highness's office. "How dare Emperor Garrick order me to do such a thing? Since he's the emperor, he should behave accordingly. And this idiot is the ruler." Angered aloud the man, John tried to calm down his assistant, but it was all in vain. "John, calm down. Be that as it may, isn't this an order from the emperor? I told you to calm down. Your temper is a nightmare," the boy remarked. "A year! A whole year I spent in a hellish war, fighting like a dog, feeding on nothing but the emperor's promises to give me the princess," the man recalled. That day, John had even fallen on his knees before His Highness. "You promised that you would make me your son-in-law if I sweat down the throats of our enemies. Keep your word." Calmly, John had the right to demand. The emperor, however, was of a very different mind. "I promised that I would give the princess, but when did I say it would be Garrick? Take Princess Sophia." With a smirk, the man replied. Now John didn't even know what he should do. He had no reason to endure such humiliation after all. Keep it simple. Sure, Emperor Garrick likes to be sneaky, but he wouldn't intentionally treat you badly. Tried to comfort his friend at that moment. But such words of reassurance angered the man even more. "He wouldn't. Yes, he treated me worse than a dog," said John, whereupon his partner declared that the man was a wimp. "You don't have some special position. The eldest son of a military family in decline. You're strong and good in battle, but you don't have any influence. You know that yourself. That's why you went to war." The guy kept talking, which made John even more angry. "But if you marry a princess, even if it's out of convenience, you become part of the royal family," he also reminded. However, this made John even more furious. The man couldn't stand it and slapped the guy with all his might. "You're a good talker, but they say if you get involved with that ghost girl, you're assured a place at the very bottom. So don't try to drag me into your scheming, Buddy. There's no way I'm marrying that ghost girl, John said proudly. At that, Buddy was right in a way. Buddy also reminded John that the entire imperial family could easily then perish along with the emperor. Along with one enemy. Do you want to sacrifice innocent lives as well? Shaking the floor dust off himself, Buddy asked. I'm not ordering you to renounce revenge. I just want to know, why did you decide to choose such a stupid way? Do you think I'm doing this for my own well-being? Buddy also decided to add, let's think about it. Princess Sophia is being forced into marriage too. Let's just have the wedding and send her somewhere out of sight. Suddenly, Buddy suggested, besides, you won't lose anything. Build up your strength and then take Garrick as your wife. Do we have to kill her father right now? Alternatively, the boy suggested. But John still continued to be angry as well. He will more than pay for this disgrace. And even though he's the emperor, yes, but this obscenely high price for bullying me he must pay, John decided. Meanwhile, Sophia was once again tormented in her nightmares. I want to crunch that calf, a living corpse. But they told me I can't. They said they'd kill me if I ate it. It's a shame. It's a shame. The monster continued to talk greedily and glared at the poor girl. The girl was already so disappointed in her insignificant life that she was even willing to give her body to be eaten by the monster. Kill me! Please kill me! Leave the innocents alone! Kill me, I say! She ordered from despair. However, the monster was not so simple. This is all your fault! It's your fault! Everything is because of you, only because of you. The monster continued to depress, but finally, after a few seconds, the girl heard the voice of a living person. Sophia woke up because her maid informed her that she had been summoned by the emperor to her room. The girl was already clear at that moment that the emperor had called her in order to block her breath. But why exactly now did he decide to kill me? All right, it's all the same. My life is looking like hell. It's time to call it a day. So what does it matter what the occasion is? The protagonist of this story thought with a sigh. And even if it's only the emperor's whim, even so, I'm immensely grateful, Sophia thought to herself. A couple of minutes later, the maids brought the girl to the right place and then ordered her to close her eyes. But what was the girl's surprise when she felt the taste of lipstick on her lips? When Sophia opened her eyes, she saw herself with wholesome makeup and dressed up in her best kimono. The girl immediately decided to ask her assistants what they were up to. We are coloring and dressing you up. Today you are to marry the firstborn of the family, John, informed the maid. It was then that Sophia thought her fiancé was just another foolish sinner, but her maids proved otherwise. No, he is not a sinner, but a war hero. As thanks for his victory, His Majesty is granting him marriage to you, princess, narrated the maid. Who even thinks I'm a princess? Surprised, Sophia thought at that moment. The girl, of course, guessed that her fiancé must have desired the bride of Garrick's family because she was beautiful like a heavenly fairy. He probably had to pound the thresholds of the emperor's reception room to ask for her hand in marriage, Sophia guessed. In addition, the image of the monster from her dream that would gladly do the bidding of the princess's lovely consort popped up in Sophia's mind. At that moment, Sophia even felt sorry for John. Poor guy. He saved the country, but instead of a worthy reward, he may lose his life, pondered the girl. But from her own sad thoughts, the girl was distracted by her maid. Pardon me, but we should already finish our preparations and leave, reminded the maid. I make people unhappy just by living in this world. Why was I born? But life only causes harm. Still thinking badly about herself, the protagonist thought to herself. The girl also decided that after the wedding ceremony, she would ask to exile herself away from here. Then, with any luck, the monster would leave him alone. And once I'm in place, I'll end this sinful life. Also, thought the girl, well, as soon as she stepped into the room to meet her spouse, A strange light flashed in front of her. Sophia didn't even realize what it was. At that time, William was standing off to the side. "Hey, look! All the princess ghosts just disappeared. That's really suspicious. So, shall we continue with the plan?" The man's aides asked. "Yes, if we hesitate any longer, I'll get much hungrier," said Williams, whose mouth was stained with another man's blood. Meanwhile, the Empire reported that Princess Sophia was coming out. "Is that the ghostly Princess Sophia? I thought she was supposed to look like a ghost, too. She's much smaller than I thought. Modest. Ordinary," John remarked. "How impertinent! Who gave you permission to raise your head? I thought you were just blind, and you're also shallow," the Emperor immediately said as soon as he saw his daughter's gesture. It seems that the rumors about the Emperor being a tyrant turned out to be true. But in general, John felt that it was none of his business. In any case, after the ceremony, he was going to send the girl away. The ceremony today lasted quite a long time. Unbearable. Okay, it'll be over after the regular ceremony. The impatient man tried to soothe himself. Well then, in the crowd, John noticed people in the crowd discussing him. "And this is the hero, John? I heard the Emperor tricked him and passed him off as a ghost princess. Poor guy. And he himself boasted that he was marrying Garrick. She's a beauty. If he gets mixed up with that girl, his death is inevitable. That's the end of his line." His former co-workers chuckled and discussed among themselves. John realized that he couldn't take this kind of sushi anymore, so he was already ready to pounce on other people. He was ready to escape from the ceremony, but it wasn't that easy. The Emperor had already prepared warriors, guards for him so that he wouldn't escape. At this time, blind Sophia did not understand what was going on around her. The girl only felt that the ghosts were raging. All she could hear was people screaming. Are ghosts harming people? Sophia wondered. However, one of the monsters gagged her. "We have his orders to take you away. You're in the way," said the monster, continuing to treat the girl rudely. Well, that's when her future spouse came to Sophia's rescue. In what was happening, the girl could not even believe. The man woke up the ghost, and before that, they disappeared altogether. How it was possible, Sophia never understood. The massacre of the monsters continued. John was still fighting confidently. In a moment, the man noticed that his opponents were actually strange. "This is the first time I've seen such a tire and attack technique. This kind of weapon proficiency can't be from some brigands out there. Could there really be a conspiracy? Who on earth are they? Although, to tell the truth, what do I care?" pondered the man. John didn't think about it for long, as he didn't care whatever it was. Just the man wanted to blow off his steam, so it was all very much a success. The man also ordered his fighters to engage. "Why are you frozen? You're not trembling there without fear, are you? Quickly take the balls in your hands," ordered the captain. Well, then his assistant, Buddy, noticed that the building was on fire. Those bastards had started the fire. Now it was time to think logically. "If I go after these guys, I won't have time to put out the fire. I don't care about the palace, but the whole city might burn." John thought at that moment. "Every single one of them. Douse the fire with water from the pond. The fire is more important than the girl. We'll track these ones down and arrest them later," ordered the man. John was also unhappy that his aides were worried about the state of the enemies. "From the looks of it, your fame is not empty. You're not exactly zero in fights. You can be relied on, not like the commander of these soldiers," quipped Buddy. John didn't much like being told such things, but still the man thought respect was better than sympathy. It was then that John looked at his arm and noticed how badly it was wounded. "What, you hurt yourself? I knew you would be when you went on the attack," said Buddy, whereupon John asked him to cover his mouth. "Your close friend is worried about you and you. By the way, isn't that your wife?" unexpectedly Buddy remarked. When John turned his head around, he actually saw Sophia there, sitting on the floor. "Well, go take care of her," Buddy suggested then. "If you're worried, go yourself. I'm not going to see that girl again anytime soon anyway. I don't want to mess with her, roughly answered him John. However, the girl happened to hear all these words of her spouse. Are you really going to do this? I'm asking you. Leave me by your side. With tears in her eyes, Sophia began to beg, but John still remained completely cold towards the girl. Why should I? You are not my chosen one. And because of this marriage, I have become the dregs of society, said the man. As soon as I see you, anger boils up in me. Don't be conceited. Just pretend you don't exist. John also demanded, before turning around and walking away. He's not usually this violent, apparently completely confused about how he feels. Ran through Buddy's mind at that moment. Before John finally left, the girl stopped him as she grabbed the fabric of the man's kimono with her hand. I know you didn't desire me either. I didn't want to stop being your wife myself. Just let me stay home for you. I will live as if I were dead. The girl began to beg. Just spare me a little place by your side. I won't hope for anything else. The poor ghostly girl continued to justify herself. But this behavior of hers infuriated the man even more. I realize you're completely selfish. Just as long as you are comfortable and others can try on. You think I'm not aware of that? Those who stay near you are cursed, the man then stated. You are hated even by your blood relatives, and you ask to go home with me? Is it not enough for you that so many people have died? Even more, the man continued to shout. However, the princess still tried to set him straight, making excuses that it wasn't like that at all. No, it's not like that, John, admitted the girl in tears. I saw normal life for the first time, in you, shining like the sun. Your energy is like a flame, and no monster can compete with you or even come close to you. You're right. Everyone around me is dying, and even the one who raised me is dying in agony. Everything had already been confirmed by the girl, and even the one person who was kind to me was strangled. My karma can't be predicted. The girl continued to admit. And a life where it's as if I don't exist is fine with me. And only next to you will I be able to live like a normal person, not hurting anyone or making anyone suffer. Sophia continued to narrate. I'm begging you, John. Help me. On her knees, all in tears, begged the poor girl. It was going to be a really intense moment that took even a manly man like John by the heart. Then Buddy, who was standing nearby, also decided to voice his opinion in a whisper to his friend. You want revenge anyway. Now you'll need the princess. You can take her with you now, said the guy. Even though everyone says I'm of no use, but I can do something. The girl admitted, and then suddenly stained the man's hand with her blood. In just a second, John's many wounds from the battle were gone. If my blood is applied to any wound, it will heal, Sophia explained. The monsters want to get their hands on my blood and make an elixir, but for the same reason, I can be useful, can't I? The girl also added. Buddy then told her that her ability would serve John well. You are already spouses. Of course you should live together. Although he is quite an abrupt, but still not soulless, said Buddy. At that, in a whisper, he spoke a slightly different thought to the man. Think of it in terms of benefits. You haven't changed your mind about getting revenge on King Garrick, have you? The friend remarked. After that, John still decided to make concessions and agree to such terms from the girl. All right, you can live in my house. Like you said, don't expect me to treat you like a wife. That will never happen. Still decided to give the man a warning just in case. However, the girl declared that he had nothing to worry about. I won't wish for something like that. Thank you. Thanked the protagonist. Do as you wish, said the man before walking away. As he was already distancing himself from view, the girl continued to express her gratitude in return. I'm really grateful, and there's no way I'll forget your favor. Sophia bowed to him. Though at that moment in reality, John knew he was just using her, so the girl might not have been so happy about it. Meanwhile, William was solving his own problems. Hey, What's to be done now? Because of this? There's no way to approach the princess now, worried his assistant. What do you say we do now? This? Everything went a bit weird. We were only following your orders, said another servant. Such an answer did not please the lord at all, so he ruthlessly ripped out the man's heart in order to feast on it. Keep watch until the opportunity comes. As expected, it's not enough. Nothing satisfies my hunger, said William. However, all that could make a man feel satiated was Sophia. The next morning, John sat down to work. His friend Buddy was idling nearby. What a time for people to be out and about first thing in the morning. John, go look too, I say. By the way, was I wrong? Spoke his observations to his buddy. He showed John how other people lined up from the very door to the end of the street to show themselves to John. Thanks to you, my job has been added, which is sickening. My adjutant is a real slacker, doing nothing but loafing around. With a deep sigh, John said, What are you talking about? I'm trying to strengthen your power. All I do is run around day and night for days and nights on end. Said Buddy, however. John implied that it was all for his own ambition. What? You think I'm just doing this for my own gain? It would be for them to emperor their feud. I'm trying to do my own thing. Just then, Buddy began to make excuses. You don't know about politics. You think whistling is enough to get people lining up at your feet? You've got to hold on to the power you've got, the friend went on to say. John then remarked that Buddy was just overcomplicating things. Who knows? Maybe Emperor Garrick thinks the same way I do? We'll see what the people think of you. I don't think it won't take long. Sure, even though you're bowing to the floor to him right now, said the guy, which made John slightly angry. Don't be ridiculous! Who the hell is that face? The man immediately stood up for himself, but in that case, the answer was already determined. It's the local authority figures, the big merchants, a list of those with power and good reputations. You need to win them over to your side. Narrated Buddy, who gave his friend a certain task. Ha! The Emperor keeps an eye on everything that happens outside the palace. I guess no one will follow me, assumed John. However, things turned out to be completely different than John thought. No, it's not like that now. I mean, you have a ghost princess. The ones marked in red on this list have health problems. You just need to start with them. Buddy began to share his plan. A simple plan that will benefit you the most. If you help them, they will be passed around like dogs, prompted Buddy. Didn't you wish for a princess yourself? The man then interjected in surprise. Well, that's one thing, but favor is another. What, are you starting to get attached to her? The friend also said on purpose to piss John off a little. What a silly thing to say. I haven't even seen her face once since I got married. Just then, John justified himself. That's good. Then it won't affect you. Here, decide what you're going to do, said Buddy, before handing the list to his best friend. This is useless doubt. Haven't I already decided that I'm going to do my best? Thought John, and told his friend to do as he saw fit. Then I'll go inform everyone. Also, John, you did the right thing, said Buddy. I mean, you thought it over well. If you had hurt the princess's feelings, she would have just left, and we wouldn't have gotten anywhere. You need her to further your plan. Would it be right to kick a destiny that came to us on its own? Buddy made a final remark. At this time, a maid was fiddling with Sophia. Mistress, my name is Elena. I have brought you some water to wash your face. I'll wipe your hands first. The woman voiced her actions. During the water procedures, she also decided to ask if Sophia was upset about something. Master didn't even come to see you the first night, arguing that he is busy with business after marriage and always leaves you alone. The woman explained, I'm not the least bit upset. He didn't even desire me, but I don't care. I owe him. Sophia spoke up. But the woman felt that the girl needed to fulfill her marital duty. No one has treated me better than him since I was born, Sophia confessed at that moment. To hear only the wind blowing and nothing more. Not that anyone would die, not that it was all her fault. In a world full of fear, John had shown the girl the light and allowed her to stay by his side in this world full of warmth and light. I owe John a debt of gratitude. I'm just grateful, Sophia admitted. Elena was indeed surprised by such reflections of the girl. The maid knew the princess only through rumors and thought the mistress was intimidating. But she turned out to be quite sweet and intelligent for her years. So nothing else bothers you then? I, Elena, will help you, the maid decided to remind. Eh? Since that's the case, though it's indelicate, but could you bring some flowers? I want to smell them. Maybe I'm being greedy, the girl decided to ask. Oh, it's such a trifle! I'll get them for you! Then interrupted and cheered her maid Helena. Meanwhile, John had demanded that the assistants get Sophia now. He stood next to the strong warrior who was on the verge of leaving this world. Luck has turned against me, just now to split my forehead. He might not die right now, but such a wound is hard to heal. After all, he might die by the end of the day as well. But on the other hand, this is a great chance. If she can heal something like this, so can the people on the list. Hell, I'm getting like that. The man pondered in the moment. After a few minutes, the maid announced that she had brought him Mistress Sophia. The man then walked over to the girl to squeeze her hand tightly. I need you. That's why I called you, John explained. This is my apprentice. He's hurt his head badly. Can you save him? The lord explained and placed the lady's hand on the warrior's forehead. But Sophia wasn't even sure if she could save him, since she had never treated such severe wounds before. It's just that no one has ever come near me. That's the case, the girl admitted, causing John to get a little upset, which is to be expected. Just some minor wounds, thought the man, and then reported that the girl's words about her usefulness were empty. But Sophia still decided not to give up and try to cure the man. It was then that John placed a small knife in the princess's hands. It's better than biting yourself until you bleed. Just stab your finger a little, pointed the man, whereupon the girl listened and sat down as she was advised. She was about to heal the warrior with her blood, but John suddenly stopped her. Still, after a few seconds, the guy realized that this was really the only way the girl would be able to cure someone important to him, so he allowed Sophia to begin the ritual. His breathing doesn't seem to be equalizing, but check, asked the girl after a couple minutes. At this point, John also noticed that the wound on the guy's forehead had already healed. His forehead looked as if nothing serious had ever happened there. This kind of thing is beyond the power of a human. What is she? And she can't heal her own wounds. Still, John didn't understand and wondered. It was then that John remembered his best friend's words about a man thinking hard about Buddy's plan. It's not a joke anymore. It's not hard to build a good man up for profit. But how does she heal like that? Wondered John. If it didn't turn out well, it needs more blood, said the girl, looking at the warrior. But then John put his hand on her head as a consolation and told the girl that she had done well. What do you need to do next? Just petting? At that, John didn't know. You were able to help. Saved a man who was near death. Of course you helped. John cheered her on. It was obvious that Sophia was indeed genuinely happy that she had done well. However, at that moment, the man noticed a strange expression on the girl's face. What's wrong with her face? She hurt herself for a stranger. What good is that? Thought John. I'll call people so you can go back. I'll send you some medicine. Before leaving, said the man. How well things have worked out. The ghost princess's skills are so good. Rather already let her start doing with the first one on the list. There is a fine merchant in Helly. His daughter has an unknown ailment and is now on the verge of death. If you say you have the medicine, you'll be a whole step closer to your goal, Buddy pointed out. Once we get things set up, we won't even have to worry about money, Buddy also added. Above all, however, Jones to one about the fact that Sophia's wound probably hasn't healed yet. Since that's the case, we should wait for her to fully recover, the man decided. Still, John decided to inquire about writing. For best results, we need to have him come to us himself. If everyone finds out about the princess's skills, a fuss will immediately be raised. There is no need to reveal the true nature of our panacea. People will be horrified when they find out it's human blood. Buddy explained. She's at death's door. Will she really care about the essence of the cure? It's going to be fine. Besides, having a shared dirty secret brings people even closer together. Buddy also added, during the night, the Lord was informed that a guest had complained to his palace. I'm sorry to be at such a late hour, but I feel like it'll be late in an hour. The man admitted, I think you know everything. I won't spell it out for long. Please sell me your medicine. I will give you as much money as you wish, said the poor father who brought his daughter in his arms. However, the gentleman pointed out that medicine was not something that could be bought. At this point, Buddy was actually surprised how John could even say such a thing after calling the man out. Afterward, John asked for Sophia to be brought in. A few seconds later, the lady arrived in a beautiful kimono. You need to heal someone. This way, said the man, and beckoned the princess over to him. Wait, what are you going to do? It's a girl! For a second, the father was frightened. However, he already had no choice but to accept such a healer to bring his child back to life as soon as possible, after which the girl made a deep cut with a slight movement of her hand to heal the boy. Of course, her father was completely confused. He immediately threw away the girl's hand, the blood from which was dripping directly onto his child. What are you doing? Are you feeding her blood? Playing on the feelings of a desperate father? I'll leave right now. Already the man started to yell, but what was his surprise when his daughter opened her eyes a few seconds later. The girl named Gloria had fully recovered from such a ritual, which was absolutely not expected by her father. Tears even came to his eyes from emotion. The man immediately fell to his feet to bow to the healer. Thank you! Thank you so much! Without even knowing anything. I will never forget this, said the man. He changed his stance very quickly. However, the girl turned out to be quite humble. If I was able to help, that's enough, said Sophia. And at that moment, John noticed that same look on her face again. I'm out of my skin here, just so no one can take anything away from me while she hurts herself time after time by being just a toy I use. The man realized in the moment, and that in that moment he saw the girl smiling at her father. This surprised John even more. How can she smile in a situation like this? Completely didn't understand John. Okay, wrap it up. Let's go in the next room. Your daughter needs to rest after all. Then suggested Buddy, who noticed the angry look on his friend's face. After they were done, John told the girl to rest in her room. However, before the man left, the girl held him back again as she had done before, grabbing the fabric of his kimono. Ah, this. Was I able to help you? The protagonist decided to ask the question. At that moment, Jones was slightly annoyed as the girl was once again asking him useless questions. He felt that she should only silently go to heal her wounds. That's why I'm telling you to go rest, said the man aloud before saying goodbye to Sophia. Still, the girl decided to thank him once again for the last time. Thank you. This is the first time I've been able to help someone. You were able to make my useless dreams come true, the girl admitted sincerely. Even though this wedding is hurtful and offensive to you, but thank you, John. Thank you, the girl continued to say, already with tears in her eyes. The man didn't even understand what this girl was even so grateful for. At the same time, John also felt a strange sensation arise within him. But why this was happening, he could not understand, so it was only necessary to accept her gratitude and silently go to sleep. The next morning, there was an uproar in the city. They arrest everyone if more than 5 people gather? What kind of nonsense is this? It's like we're all contagious. They say Mr. Jonathan was tortured with horns last time? The men gossiped, all just to catch those traitors. They are being completely unfair to the common people." The men continued to discuss. At this moment, the guy who was eating nearby could also hear what the bystanders were talking about. It felt like the people in the palace also didn't seem to understand what the matter was about. Yeah, well, who could even imagine something like this? Pondered the guy. Who would think that those they call traitors are actually the undead? When I saw them, I didn't believe my eyes at first either. The boy admitted to himself. And the teacher's prediction about the crop failure was right. I need to gather more information first. And then... He thought out a cunning plan. After that, a girl joined him. She was an acquaintance of his. "I knew you were here. You were sent to investigate here, and you're here pouring your collar?" said Amber, seeing the way the guy ordered another glass of wine. That's when he asked the girl if it was a little early for the death penalty. But they decided to cut all the banter short and better talk about work. "No unclean forces have been detected near John lately." Amber began to voice her observations. "What? Those creeps are having a hard time getting close to him, too. They are opposed by the one who represents the sun." Spoke up in response to the boy. "Do we still need to watch Princess Sophia? Ghosts don't want to be gone forever either, sort of," the girl then prompted. "That's all true, under normal circumstances. But when it comes to the princess, they won't stop, because the princess..." But before the boy could even finish speaking, a loud scream interrupted him. One of the aides came running in, indicating that something terrible had happened. Somewhere nearby, a man had been killed. A lot of people gathered nearby to see who it was. In addition, the cause of death was unknown. Some speculated that he had been mauled by a beast, as the body looked horrible. Well, as soon as the guy saw the fighter, he immediately recognized that it was the work of the unclean. Moreover, the handiwork of a very strong uncleanness, a sinister uncleanness. "Spread out! There shouldn't be more than 5 people in one place!" Another man from the crowd also started shouting. After that, Amber and her partner decided not to linger looking at the dead guy's body. Oh, and besides, there was a lot of work to do. However, the girl still decided to speculate on what kind of murder it was. Whoever did it must be a member of the group that broke into the ceremony. But it's still strange. Unclean things don't group together. Who the hell is this Sophia? Amber didn't understand. Then the guy had to explain that Sophia was someone who was blessed by the heavens. That's why it's like she's like honey to the monsters. If they taste the sacred flesh, they will gain incredible power, explained a colleague. The beast is on the verge of extinction, but if the monster can absorb a piece of heaven's blessing, it will be able to be reborn as a human. Once every 1,000 years, a blessed one is born in the sinful world. The princess is one of them. The reason why she can't use the sacred power is most likely because the monster has already stolen the divine power contained within the eyes. Once Amber learned this whole theory, she didn't even believe it. Yes, it can't be. Someone like not her. Yes, only Mute doesn't talk about how sinister she is. The girl spoke up. Ominous. A celestial creature not in heaven, but on earth. The monsters will go mad, and the people drawn into this horror will die. If things are left like this, the world will fall into chaos. Noted the boy. He knew exactly about this, as it was mentioned in the prophecy of the great oracle. We must prevent such an outcome before it becomes a reality. I don't know what their next move will be, but the undead will surely be hanging around the princess. We'll wait in Ja to stop those scum. Decided one of the warrior's aides. At this time, Sophia was once again immersed in her horrible nightmares. The monster was once again telling her that he wanted to eat her body. But this time the nightmare didn't last long, as it was the maid Elena who was experiencing the dream. I apologize, but you have a visitor, the maid informed. The dream seems to be wearing me down. Thought the girl and informed Elena that she was ready to meet the guest. Of course, the girls only came for her to heal. You can see, the condition of my arm is far from good. Please help, asked the man. Immediately after he drank her blood, His numerous wounds on his arm immediately healed. The man immediately thanked the girl, never ceasing to be amazed at this treatment. As the guest was leaving, the doors closed. This meant that this man was likely to be the last. People with rotten skin, people whose legs cannot be healed, whose hearts are stricken with diseases. Compared to them, this is just a trifle. It's all right. Until now, I've only harmed others. The protagonist consoled herself as she looked at her sore arm. It was all cut up for the sake of treating other people. In order not to be upset, the girl recalled pleasant moments with John, who showed her what it meant to live more or less happily. John, knowing that I can help him, is enough for me to be happy, thought Sophia at that moment. If I think it's all for you, then my useless life will gain meaning in the blink of an eye. So even if you don't come to me, even if my wounds don't heal, I'm happy, mouthed the ghost princess. After the guest left, the girl fell asleep. Sophia was so tired that she wasn't even woken up by a rough male voice until hours later. The smell of blood is so strong. It seems as if I'm intoxicated. I want to meld you tightly to bite into your blood and consume you completely, whispered William in her ear. Why is this woman always, not now, not yet. Sophia, until next time, said William, before disappearing from sight. Sophia remained sleeping alone that night, not even realizing what kind of guest had come to see her. The next morning, John followed to the emperor. I've heard that you've had quite a few people visiting your palace lately. With such words, the emperor greeted John. As soon as His Majesty said this, all of John's questions about why the emperor had summoned him dried up. There's nothing wrong with helping ordinary people, said the boy aloud. Ha, just think. I live to see such words come out of your mouth. It's unbelievable. Have you really matured so much since the ceremony? If I had known, I would have arranged it much earlier, said the caustic man. The emperor also remarked that lately, John's name was on everyone's lips, even in the palace. The gossip didn't stop. I'm going to appoint you as a troop commander and send you to quell the rebellion. What do you think? The man inquired. John at that moment didn't even realize why he was suddenly given the opportunity to go on a mission trip. I'm just an incompetent person who has only seen the battlefield from afar. I don't know how to lead an army. John decided to say, John, where has he gone who calmly beheaded his enemies? Modesty doesn't suit you at all. Or is there some other reason why you don't want to do this? Said the man, and continued to smile slyly. John was then finally convinced that this was a trap. The question is rather strange. The reason why I don't want to help? Why should I have the desire to help your Majesty? On the contrary, you should have asked yourself the question, do I have a reason to assist you? John said, which made the emperor angry. The emperor, not thinking long, at that moment took what fell to his friend, an empty cup, and threw it directly at John's head. You are a shameless and selfish travesty. How dare you show your disrespect? Do you have to be scolded to show a modicum of respect and obedience? Shouted the emperor. I can only say that I am loyal to you if you ask me to lie. John then replied in a completely calm tone, driving the emperor into an even more aggressive rage. His Majesty immediately demanded that his current guest be kicked out. Get out! You, John! You're a travesty! John! The emperor continued to shout after him. John himself turned around and walked away calmly, not wanting to listen to this hypocritical man. You'll have to do your best to humiliate me. I will not, as before, fall down before you. The self-righteous man was saying to himself at that moment. In gratitude for the cure, most of the officials sided with John. There was nothing the emperor could do to the man now, unless there was a good reason. Just wait, I'll pay you for everything you made me do, decided the also relaxed John. But at that moment, the guy didn't expect to see Princess Garrick at all. The girl of unearthly beauty accidentally met the general. As soon as she noticed the blood on the man's face, she immediately decided with her hand to wipe it off. But the guy the same brushed her palm off his face. Please leave your pity or whatever it is. I have to go, said the man rudely goodbye. Before what? Even the maid princess was shocked with the guy's behavior. It was not behavior worthy of a general. Around the corner, John had his friend Buddy waiting for him. Don't you desire this woman? Surprised, then interjected the friend who had overheard their entire casual dialogue. The man then explained that even if he did desire the girl, he had no desire to succumb to such flattery. After all, John was indeed a proud man. But Buddy still laughed at his friend's words. "Ha, you don't have any feelings for Princess Garrick. You just want to win, don't you?" Buddy remarked. But then John thought that assumption was completely wrong, because he thought he was willing to sacrifice his life for her. If it's not a feeling, then what is it? Resolved to ask his friend. Who knows? Maybe it's a feeling out of hatred for the Emperor? Maybe it's an obsession, he then suggested. Well, John thought it was all just nonsense. All right, whatever you say. By the way, where did you get hurt? Then his friend decided to ask. John immediately admitted that Emperor Garrick had thrown a tantrum, saying he wanted to make me commander of the army against the rebels, and I retorted by asking if he'd lost his mind in there. Told the man the truth. The Emperor is something, but you're good too. No one but you could say something like that to a ruler. The good thing is that it can heal any wounds. It won't even leave a scar, Buddy said then, whereupon John remembered the words of his healer. This is the first time I can help someone. You were able to make my useless dreams come true. A few days ago, the girl had confessed to him. I'm not going to ask for help from her for something like this. The man decided to answer, though he really didn't understand why he would leave his wound in such a state, especially when there was a chance to heal it quickly. But what the man was really thinking about was that if he asked the girl for healing, she wouldn't hesitate to hurt herself. Don't ask questions. Don't hesitate for a second. On the contrary, she will do it gladly. She will harm herself with ease. From this restless girl, I never cease to be amazed, thought the man. These thoughts cornered him, so John, without even saying goodbye to his friend, decided to leave. The guy was still thinking about whether he should accept his spouse's actions. Hey, are you completely out of your mind? It's nighttime, scolded the woman at the young girl. I'll be back soon. Don't tell anyone, the girl asked then. Stupid people. Who cares about the time of day anyway? The young lord is waiting for me, the one who comes every night and silently drinks. His appearance has conquered my heart, thought the girl in love. At the same time, she knew that he was most definitely an imp. Young master, it is past midnight. Would you mind walking with me to the willow tree? I have something to tell you. The girl asked that day, and of course William agreed. This mortal girl clearly knew that he was not human, for humans could not be so beautiful. His noble face, his high strength, his elegant manner, and his black, river-falling hair. But the loveliest thing about him is those ravishing eyes that look straight into the soul. The girl thought, and waited for her prince. Sure enough, that night he did come, fulfilling his promise, to which the girl was greatly pleased. You really came. It was like I was in a dream. Master, I've been longing for you so much. I think my heart is about to jump out of my chest. With a strong embrace, the girl greeted him. William knew very well that she really loved him. Then, taking advantage of that, the guy decided to kiss her tenderly. Or rather, William decided to have the girl do it herself by manipulating her feelings. If you really love me, then kiss me, he commanded. She wanted to dissolve into the arms of this cold-blooded man. Without thinking long, the girl did indeed sink into kissing William. As he thought, nothing changed. Right after that, the guy easily got the heart of the naive girl. When she fell unconscious, the guy only saw her life off with a cold stare. It's nasty and bitter at the same time, but it's a taste he'll never forget. Even so, it wasn't enough for him. William wanted to tempt more hearts. The next morning, the girl's body was found. The investigators couldn't tell which case it was anymore, and it looked too disgusting. After all, they were looking at a body with its heart ripped out of its chest. The guy who was sent to investigate also noticed at that moment that it was another victim with a missing heart. People here don't care about anything at all. They are so dependent on other people's decisions and help. Is everything okay with them? He also wondered. After that, Amber approached him. The girl told him that she had checked all the neighborhoods, but she never found anything that could help them, only a confirmation of the fact that it was the same killer. He's quietly walking around the neighborhood, and we can't find a single lead, noted Amber, who really didn't know what they should do anymore. That's when she decided to ask her partner if he could use a spell to read the memories of this place. But her friend explained that it was useless right now. There were too many thoughts piling up here, so they would have to wait. It's crazy. We need to at least understand the motive to find the killer, Amber thought aloud. Motive! A corpse with no hearts. It can't be. I think I know the reason for these murders. Suddenly, the boy guessed. That's when he decided that the killer was just trying to become human, and it's quite a logical and correct conclusion. The undead could be reborn as human if they tasted blessed flesh. But there's an easier option. For the same result, you have to consume 1,000 hearts, which is what explained William's multiple murders, though he himself has not yet been found to be the killer. And that's what they eat human hearts for? What are they thinking about? To swallow a human heart is to become many times stronger, Amber replied. Maybe so, but a monster's desire to become human is instinctual. Though I think it's not just about him in this case, a coworker admitted. Still, the girl felt that 1,000 hearts was really too much. They should definitely stop it. I'm notifying the others of another situation, Amber decided. However, her partner knew it was too late. I've seen all sorts of evil things, but this is the first time I've been hit head-on with a weird premonition of trouble, thought the lad. He knew very well that this time it would be far from easy. That same afternoon, Mr. John was called to a brothel. Besides, he didn't know who it was that had invited him. Buddy had told him that someone wanted to meet John, so the friend advised him to go to a brothel. If they wanted to talk to me, they should have come to my palace, thought the man, but still went to the meeting. What was John's surprise when he saw a familiar face in front of him? It was Han. Han was the most powerful minister in the imperial court. He has always treated John as a thorn in his side. More than that, he is Emperor Garrick's crony. That's why Jonu wondered what such a person was even up to all of a sudden. We're not close enough to have a nice chat and sip tea. Get to the point. Immediately, John demanded as soon as he met Han's eyes. Okay, since you don't like to beat around the bush so much, I need your help. Have a seat, the man admitted. At that moment, John didn't even know what Han was up to, but he absolutely hated the whole situation already. Don't tell me you really think like I'm going to help you? John decided to ask, directly showing what he didn't like about this visit to someone else's palace. I heard that a lot of people have visited your palace in the past few days. Han then began to narrate. Everything was going exactly as John thought it would. He had been sent by Emperor Garrick to find out the truth. When I became interested in this, I found out one interesting thing. Either they themselves or their loved ones had health problems, said Han. In addition, the old man noticed that he had recently learned that one of the respected people had also visited John's house. So he felt like stopping by to visit him. You might not have known this, but he is a close friend of mine. I knew he was sick and that no one else knew about it. The man spoke up. Of course, John was pretty pissed that this friend had told the old man everything in such detail. That said, John was still professionally silently listening to Han at that moment and waited for the old man to finish his sentence. Surprisingly, his half-rotten legs turned out to be perfectly healthy. His legs that no doctor could cure. I was shocked. Do you have something in your house that can cure any disease? Han inquired. At that moment, John became more than a little nervous. The man began to worry how this man even knew about this so quickly, and how he even knew so much in the first place. However, John still decided not to give the appearance of something like this happening. "Something that can cure diseases? I don't know what you mean," said John. But what was the general's surprise when Han slightly bare himself in front of him? "I have the same problem as my friend. My skin is rotting and my body is in perpetual agony." The man revealed. It was surprising since Han was really good at hiding it. No one knew about it, but it wasn't hard to guess why the old man didn't tell anyone about his illness either. "If anyone found out about my weakness, not even a night would pass before everyone would start calling me not an important political figure, but a walking dead man," Khan explained. But, to make matters worse, his condition had recently deteriorated. The man even thought there was no point in hiding his imminent death any longer. But then a friend of his came to see him and boasted that his hands were cured. Of course, Han immediately started begging his acquaintance to tell him about the cure. Then the man realized that there was no other option, and all the old man needed to do was to go to John and ask for help. "You really decided to come to me? What nerve?" Immediately, John replied, "You must despise me, but I've already found out everything, and I still came to you, not the Emperor. John, please help me. I will do anything." Then already he began to bow before John Han to beg the general for such mercy. In the past, he only thought of getting rid of me, but now he has bowed down before me. John thought at that moment. Still, the man decided to ask why he should help this old man. "Of course you have no reason to do so. That's why I'm going to give you this. Here is a list of everyone who has ever asked me for a favor. It's not just about politics. There's information here that you can kill with." Unexpectedly, Han offered the letter in return as a gift. "Doesn't sound like you at all. What if I take it and decide to deceive you?" John then wanted to ask, just in case. "You may have a temper, but you're far from stupid. You already know what it means to hold someone's life in your hands and do with it as you please. So is there any point in making a fuss?" The wily old man replied in a calm tone. Within a couple minutes already, Han was asking John's decision about this. Now the general was really stumped. "If I could do as I wish, I would leave this old man to die. But that would be too great a loss." John scrolled through his mind, after which he informed the old man that he could come to his house within 24 hours. Khan thanked the young man, after which they said goodbye. That same night, John decided to tell his friend all of this. Of course, Buddy immediately had a lot of questions and assumptions about it. Does this mean that yesterday's enemies have become friends today? Things have turned out so interestingly. Pretty soon Garrick will be the ruler in mere words. Already ahead of his time, his friend rejoiced. But John tried to convey to him that things were just beginning. "Yeah, but we're still going pretty easy on our goal. When it comes to you, Garrick gets a little too intemperate. Last time he called you out at all just to vent his anger. He's usually more sensible and cunning," Buddy remarked. Although John thought he was just the ultimate snob. "His behavior in your presence is rather odd. He used to always be calm and cold, but as soon as you appear on the horizon, he's all out. So why is that?" Indeed, Buddy wondered, but his friend did not think there was any point in speculating on the subject at all. "Anyway, it's so good that everything is going according to plan. Aren't you glad you listened and got married, just as I said?" Buddy then added unexpectedly. However, John still thought otherwise. After all, if he hadn't married that girl, none of this would have happened. But the friends didn't have time to argue about it at that moment, as one of the warriors pointed his finger at a new human corpse. Once again, this body had its heart ripped out. "Is it really again? What a nightmare! How are we supposed to live when this happens?" Already completely unsure of what to do, the other people did not know what to do. "How could there be such a mutilated body here? It's as if from a battlefield!" John, who was seeing the aftermath of the ripped-out heart for the first time, was also surprised. John immediately decided to wonder what had happened here. This is what everyone's been judging about lately. What's out there mystically killing and taking nothing but hearts? People are terrified. No one can even find the killer, let alone catch him. Narrated the shocked man. John had no idea what kind of crazy creature would even do such a thing. Notify acquaintances or the family of the deceased and help them with finding the remains and burying them, the general then ordered. After that, he asked all the people to disperse and go about their business so that no crowd would accumulate. But he also did not understand the reason for such a killing. And who would have the guts to do something like this? The guards will be able to catch him, right? Buddy hoped. That same night, Sophia woke up to hear someone else's crying. Her maid was indeed crying near the girl, as Elena felt sorry for her mistress. This is too much. How can you do this to yourself? Your body is completely covered in wounds and scars, and you keep cutting yourself anyway. How can you be fine? The girl sincerely didn't understand. Please, at least for a few days, until your wounds heal even a little, I beg you to ask the Lord for rest. The maid continued to plead. However, Sophia herself did not want to rest, as she had learned that people would die if she did not help them. Besides, the girl really wanted to be of use to John. She was doing all of this primarily for his sake. The girl still remembered the man's words of praise. Sophia, you did a great job. Thank you. You've been a great help to me. I'm glad to have you by my side. I'm sorry, I can't do what you ask. Thank you for worrying about me. Thanks to you, I'm not in any pain at all. Decided to try and calm her assistant Sophia down. The girl had no choice but to ask for at least a little self-pity. Please don't make the cuts so deep. Let them heal. The assistant continued to plead, but the time was getting late, so it was time to go to bed. Ah, yes, the time. You should sleep too, mistress. Last time you said you liked the smell of wild chrysanthemums. I will bring them in the morning. Rest now, said the girl, and went to her private room. After the maid left, Sophia pondered about her life some more. It's all right. I have someone who worries about me and cries by my bedside. I'm fine. I'd rather my body suffer than my heart. In a completely calm tone, the girl decided. That same night, however, she noticed many wild eyes fixed on her. The monsters had come to visit her once again, and this time they were heading specifically towards the girl, but as it seemed, they were only servants. To the girl in the darkness, it seemed to be an unclean thing. Did you want something? At this late hour? Sophia asked fearfully. As it turned out, the people wanted the girl to save their sick mother. Okay, you can call her tomorrow, and I'll help. But before Sophia could even finish speaking, she was immediately interrupted by one of the men. No, I have no money or power. The Lord would never allow it, the man explained. The girl then offered to give her blood, but the man suggested that it would curdle very quickly, so help was urgently needed. The persistent men began to persuade the girl so much to give up her body part with blood that before Sophia knew it, the people around her had turned into monsters. Shit! Hurry up! We'll be killed if we get caught! Is this enough? Not yet! Hurry up! It's almost done! The monsters continued. Sophia didn't even realize what was really happening to her. Am I still in the palace? Or did I die and go to hell? Didn't understand the protagonist. At the same time, Sophia felt as if her body was leaving her strength. And yet, the girl could no longer do anything but resign herself to it. But even dying, she was setting herself up that they were all not bad people, and that they just wanted to save their mother. So that's why Sophia thought it was okay. The girl didn't know yet what really happened that day. Madam, may I invite guests? Asked the woman to Sophia. The girl, of course, informed that she was ready to receive new customers. I begged for it. I told him I would endure anything, just so he would let me stay by his side. That's all I've wished for, and this is the place I want to stay. Sophia tuned herself out. But the girl now didn't know if she really wanted that anymore. Her hands looked just awful. They were all covered in cuts that never seemed to heal. A couple minutes later, Elena brought her mistress the promised flowers. The chrysanthemums smelled wonderful. Elena had picked only the most fragrant and beautiful flowers. Sophia was pleasantly pleased with such a gift. "I will bring you a fresh bouquet every day. Enjoy them," the girl also promised. But then Elena was called by the older maid, so she had to go. "I have to go now. I'll come back later, mistress," the maid promised. Light and darkness exist in this house. Loneliness and solace. So if Sophia was scared and in pain, she thought it was okay. If I can go back to the light for even a second, then it's okay, thought the girl and cried, holding chrysanthemums in her hands. The fate of the protagonist of the story was indeed hard. From that day on, they started coming every night. Perhaps it was because of the rumors that spread, but there were days when the visitors became unusually numerous. Some would draw blood into vessels, and others would cut small pieces of skin and muscle. They kept shaking with fear and apologizing to the girl. There were too many strangers. Each time, Sophia sobbed in pain. Every morning, she added opium to her tea, and the girl replaced the romantic candles with those that dulled the pain. Throughout the day, her eyes were filled with vague images of something unknown. There are no monsters in the palace, but in her dreams, Sophia sees eyes just waiting for an opportunity to play. Is this really my punishment for hurting people before? The healer guessed. The next day, as Elena brought her mistress another round of flowers, she noticed again that Sophia looked extremely ill. Strange, but your wounds aren't healing at all. Perhaps we should call a doctor, the maid suggested, but Sophia decided to politely decline. No, it's because I'm not getting enough sleep. There was quite a strong wind during the night. The flowers are especially beautiful today. Where do you pick them? Sophia decided to ask to change the topic of their conversation. Elena told her that she tears these flowers in the field and that they have no value. But Sophia didn't think so. How can flowers have no value? I like them. Can you put them in a vase? I'm very grateful to you, Elena. Sophia decided to say, Don't exaggerate, it's nothing. I'll bring other flowers tomorrow. I saw a whole garden right outside the palace. Those flowers smell wonderful. Every year, my family and I go to see them bloom. Even just looking and admiring is very interesting. I'm sure you will like it, said the delighted Sophia. But before the girl could even finish, she turned around and saw the lady lying on the floor. Elena also ran up to Sophia to bring the girl to order. At that, the maid didn't even realize what was going on. What is it, mistress? What are you in pain? Mistress, please come to your senses. Mistress, somebody! Madam's wound is bleeding! Help! A servant girl screamed in panic. Sophia herself at that moment felt the coldness stiffening her body. The girl was already certain that she was just going to die like that. Sophia was used to being afraid of being alone, but now she felt peaceful. The thought that this was the end, that there would be no more pain, did not leave her. But as soon as the girl closed her eyes, she found herself in a completely different world from where she thought she would end up. She's finally back. Now we can tear her apart and eat her. We have to swallow her together in one go. Just then, the creepy monsters rejoiced. To be honest, Sophia thought something would change if she stayed near John. But no matter what she did, her sins could never be washed away. I knew it, but I still dared to hope. I'm so naive. Continued to think about the distraught protagonist. But now Sophia also realized that there was nothing left for her to do but resign herself to it, to accept it and leave this world with a calm soul. Besides, she had already been waiting for her torment to end for a long time before. Take me away. Tear me into pieces and eat me as you please. My useless life, if it can remove your voice, it's fine. The girl decided to say, and headed straight for the monster's mouth. But at the same second, a male force stealthily crept up from behind and pushed the girl back. "No, you can't leave. You taught me, and so you have to stay. As long as I don't, you." It sounded from the mouth of the male body. However, the phrases were not completely clear. The girl had absolutely no clue who was standing behind her. And why that man's voice is always so sad. Why? When Sophia opened her eyes, John was sitting in front of her. "Are you awake?" the guy immediately asked caringly. It was obvious how nervous he was as he waited for Sophia to wake up. "Let's go back a few hours." Then the Lord went to pay another visit to the Emperor. "I recently received reports claiming that the borders are rampant with barbarians, and I had the idea of having John lead a search and go there. What does the Lord think of this?" The Emperor decided to inquire. John himself understood exactly what the man was really up to. "This time you would have decided to try and fuse me away. You must think it's a great idea." John wondered at that moment. However, the other warriors also indicated that they were against such an idea. It hasn't been that long since the war ended. Besides, the city was attacked just recently. If you send John, the people won't be able to feel safe. Please understand the civilians. Your Majesty, please change your mind. Han spoke up. Of course, the ruler was not at all happy about this turn of events. "Is that so? Why did they change their minds so suddenly? Gentlemen say so, then one must agree." The Emperor thought and decided to announce that he was rejecting this order. As John rode home, he pondered this whole meeting with His Majesty. Today, that disgusting old man wouldn't even dare to make a peep against me. A little earlier, there was nothing I could have done. Buddy was right. I never thought allies could be so useful, and that if you get enough allies, you can change the mind of even the most stubborn man. I might even push Garrick to be the top general. If this works out, I can control everything and everyone. No one will dare to come out against me, decided the self-confident man. However, at the same time when the young man returned home, he happened to overhear other people talking. "I have to see the master! It's very important! I only need a few minutes! I have to tell him something!" shouted the girl. But she was stopped by another gentleman. "Do you think someone like you can meet a gentleman in peace?" said the guy. Watching them, John thought that this girl was definitely that woman's servant. Therefore, he decided to approach the guys to ask what's going on. "Nothing is going on. That girl is just talking some nonsense," said the gentleman, continuing to hold the girl forcibly. But then Elena fell to the floor to bow at the general's feet. "Sir, I have something to tell you!" Elena began to plead. She was so nervous that it was hard for her to convey all that she wanted to convey to the man. "Could you please let Her Highness rest for at least a couple days? She can't take it anymore." Elena bowed down in front of him. At that moment, John didn't even know the seriousness of the situation, so he even chuckled slightly. "Ha, this woman sent you to pass this on? Just a couple days ago, she was so grateful, and now—" Thought aloud to John. "No, she didn't. She keeps saying that everything is fine, but I couldn't watch silently anymore, so I decided to come to your bow. How can you order her to continue treating the people who come when she's already fainting from exhaustion? Don't you feel sorry for her at all? She has so many wounds all over her body. She can barely wake up in the morning as it is. At this rate, she'll die." Sophia's headmaid went on in tears. Then the man was already listening to her in earnest. "What are you talking about? Is she unconscious?" "I didn't know anything about it," John admitted. Helena told him that the mistress had fainted this morning. "I told the servants about it. I told them to tell you," said the girl. But of course nothing of the sort came to John. "You mean she continues to receive visitors even after she fainted?" The man clarified in surprise. "Mistress hardly wakes up, but the servants keep collecting blood." The girl said then, and that was the final straw for John to personally go to Sophia. When the man entered the girl's room, he saw a lot of smoke around. It was an anesthetic mixture. and there was too much of it. To make matters worse, the man turned his attention to the girl who was lying unconscious. For heaven's sake! What she... And I really might not even have known about everything? I didn't keep track of how many visitors she had and how she was feeling? The man thought, and that got to him even more. John couldn't mumble, but boldly took his spouse in his arms. John was even angrier at the staff for not being informed about Sophia. I will thoroughly investigate everything that happened here, the man declared. He himself at that moment was only hoping for one thing, whether he was too late to visit Sophia. In so little time, she had indeed become dear to him, and no one else. Afterward, John carried the girl to his room. "Get a healer immediately!" ordered the man to his assistants. In a moment, John also wondered about his well-being. I feel so strange. Isn't this what I've been wishing for? She's just a woman I didn't want to see. Why exactly now has my conscience decided to eat me up? After coming this far, pondered John. After a couple minutes, the servants reported the healer had arrived. The lad then decided to put his worries to the back burner. We'll have to sort it all out later. We'll have to bring her to consciousness first, decided the man. General, I think you should take a look. It looks as if chunks of skin and muscle were cut off and then stitched together in a hurry. Perhaps a dirty knife was used, for the cuts are inflamed. The infection is serious. The whole body is covered with similar scarring. On top of that, the body's used to the drugs, so it doesn't take them at all. I suppose it's the effects of a kind of opium, but how come there's so much of it? Narrated the doctor. We need to detoxify the body and sanitize the wounds. The treatment will likely take a long time, and the effects will stay with her for the rest of her life, so bring the body to this point. The doctor continued to speak. However, John couldn't stand listening to all this anymore. Before he left, the man ordered to use anything to cure the girl. It wasn't hard to guess that such a huge amount of medicine was administered to the girl by the maids. Therefore, an exasperated John decided to punish the rascals. Bring the servants from the princess's palace and steam each one. If you miss even one, you will take their place, ordered the stern consort. So it happened, those maids were punished as they should be. They begged for mercy, but of course John did not listen to them. After all, how much harm those servants had done to the girl. Just then, John's best friend Buddy came to the people's screams. What's going on here? Why are you punishing these servants? You can even hear the screaming outside, Buddy inquired. John then explained that the servants had conspired and decided to use the woman for their own purposes. They cut off her flesh and stole it. There weren't just 2 or even 3 of them. On top of that, John was sure there were at least 10 people involved. It doesn't make sense. How can a person eat someone's flesh? Marveled and horrified at the same time, Buddy was surprised and horrified. They treated her like an animal I raise in the backyard. They didn't even question that they could do that to her, like she wasn't my wife at all, not even human, the guy pointed out. And it's not hard to understand why they think that, because I treated her that way myself, like an animal locked up in a pen and only required to give blood every day. Remember what that woman said? She's a normal person. She just wanted to find a place where she could live like a normal person, recalled John. Only by your side can I live like a normal person, without hurting anyone, and without making anyone suffer. The girl spoke that day. She said that without even realizing that she would be treated like an animal, John also remarked. His best friend, who was watching the whole thing from the outside, perfectly saw the guy's despair and regret. Because of that, he decided to lightly comfort John. Don't blame yourself. You couldn't have known it would turn out like this, said Buddy. But John was so angry with himself that he took those words completely differently. Don't blame yourself? Indeed. I didn't give orders to the servants to cut off her flesh. I only allowed people with money and power to take advantage of her abilities. John began to scream with all his might. He realized that he sent people to Sophia every day. Can I say that I didn't know how things would turn out? That I didn't know how far things could go? And you're telling me not to blame myself? Pointed out the general, and even at the absurdity of it all, he began to laugh a little. Don't make me laugh. I'm not as hypocritical as you are. I don't blame myself. But every bastard who dares to harm my man, I will destroy. In a confident tone, the senior general announced. John was now determined to find everyone involved without fail to punish them. I will do everything. It will be bad if there are rumors that the master of the house abused the servants, so it's better for someone from the outside to deal with it, Buddy decided. But the general bluntly pointed out that this matter was only about his house and had nothing to do with Buddy. Even after we've gotten this far? I was the one who suggested you contact the princess, wasn't I? Like you said, I'm a hypocrite, and it's not inherent in me to take on guilt for anyone as well. I'm trying to resolve this situation for my own skin, so let me do it, asked Buddy. Don't play the smart ass, replied John in a gruff tone. Would killing all the servants fix what they did to the princess? Or will her wounds miraculously heal? Your feelings are clear to me, but anger will not solve the problem. Buddy tried to convey to him. This situation requires a rational approach. Leave it to me and cool your head for now, asked the guy before they said their goodbyes. After that, John headed to Sophia's room. The guy really thought that the truth was that the girl shouldn't be lying here in this state. After all, he knew she didn't deserve this in any way. I can't believe this marriage was desirable to you. Garrick was just using you to humiliate me. And knowing that, I still gave in to my anger and was rude to you. And even so, you helped me, recalled the man. The girl, after all, was really sincere with him and always benevolent. Just at this moment of repentance, Sophia miraculously opened her eyes. You're awake? Surprised asked the man. The girl didn't realize where she was from the get-go, so John told her that she was now in his room. The man also told the girl that she had fainted. Why didn't you ask for help? I heard they have done that to you many times. Why didn't you tell me everything? Honestly, didn't understand John. As it turned out, the girl admitted that she didn't think she had the right to ask for something like that. She thought that if she asked a man for help, he would certainly refuse her. I'll pay you for everything! Gritting his teeth, said John, who still felt guilty. Paying for what you've been through is entirely my responsibility. Tell me what you want as compensation, and I'll give it to you. The man promised then. Anything? Will you really give me anything I desire? Then I want... May I touch you? Unexpectedly, the modest girl asked.